Krishan, like Dr. Indrajit mentioned, there's been a pickup in tourism, record number of arrivals. We've also seen a strong flow of remittances. But domestic consumption as well as domestic consumption remains subdued, which really is not quite what we would expect at this point of time. What trends do you anticipate going forward?
Thanks, Savitri. Just on tourism, it has recovered very well, but we are still below the peak by about 10 to 15%, and the mix has changed. The numbers from China are lower, and the numbers from countries like Russia are higher, and you can see the impact of that because occupancies are stronger on the beach and in the what we call the round trip Kandy and the ancient cities. It's a little lower than normal. But it will fully recover and then grow from there. So if I look out over the next year or two, Indrajit mentioned about Malaysia doing over 20 million tourists. So if we projected the numbers for Sri Lanka pre the pandemic, we would have seen that peak of about 2.3 million tourists going to well over 3, 4, 5 million tourists. Because it should. After the war ended, we grew from 3 to 400,000 tourists a year to 2.3 million over 10 years. So if Bali can get 8 or 9 million foreign arrivals in 2019, Sri Lanka should do quite well over the next so many years. Especially, again, as Indrajit mentioned, especially given that we are right next to India, within 1 hour to 3 hours from most of India. And if you look at China, in 2000, China had 20 million outbound travelers. In 2019, they had 170 million or so outbound travelers. India at the moment has about 25 million, I think, outbound travelers annually, but that will grow significantly. It will just keep growing, and Sri Lanka will benefit like the neighboring countries of China benefited from tourism. So we are very positive even in the short term on tourism. There are bottlenecks like the airport. On the port, volumes have been steady throughout. The domestic volumes, with export volumes being lower and import volumes being lower, have dipped. So from a mix of about 20% domestic, today it's about 15% domestic, 85% transshipment. But we are running, give or take, at close to full capacity, all 3 terminals. And when we looked at the feasibility for the West Terminal, and we did this research twice, and we had Drewry, which is one of the leading forecasting houses and research houses for the shipping business. They projected that the new capacity in Colombo would get absorbed quite quickly, even with the East Terminal, so West Terminal and the East Terminal. And again, I'm just picking some numbers, but India's container volumes last year, I think, was something like 16 or 17 million, and China's was 160 million. So container volumes will grow. Colombo is the hub port for South Asia, and we need to keep adding capacity. On the property, I'm just covering some sectors quickly for the audience, some current trends. After the economic crisis, it just vanished, the market just vanished. But from about August, while the highest end, so Cinnamon Life, apartment sales have been negligible, but at Trizen, we have seen sales of about 6 to 10 new apartments every month. And then we launched, this is since about August last year, we launched a new project in Jaila, which has very attractive prices. It's a project called Biman, and it's low rise, so the construction costs are relatively low. And we have about 100 units in each block. There will be 4 blocks on 6 acres of land. And the first block we started marketing, it has about 114 units. And within a few months, we have sold more than 90 units. So some momentum. And finally, on consumption, the Elephant House ice cream and soft drinks, big dip. We had to take prices up nearly 100%. So there was a big dip early last year, throughout most of last year. But from about mid-Jan this year, we've seen a decent pickup in volumes. Now it may vary depending on the category. I'm just talking about ice cream and soft drinks. The recovery in ice cream has been much stronger than soft drinks, but soft drinks has also recovered, and we expect that trend to continue. So encouraging to hear what Murtaza said as well. So quick snapshot.